Hello everyone, so here we are, a continuation of the emergency power setup for me and my family to keep my house and my family warm in the event of a power outage. I've already shown you guys, what this battery can do with this 2000 watt inverter. Saw the numbers with my voltmeter, and I said I was going to have to get an actual lithium ion phosphate battery instead of my car battery. I already discussed all that, and I thought, you know what, I ain't done yet. But today we're going to talk about charging. I picked up this 14.6 20 amp lithium ion phosphate battery charger from Power Queen. This guy here is designed to charge up these type of batteries. So I'm going to hook it up and I'm going to see where we're at first and see how long it's going to take to charge this bad boy back up. When I got this battery from the manufacturer, it was at 50% charge. And if you see my previous video, that charge or that battery, even at a 50% capacity, still ran this furnace when it was colder outside. It still ran this furnace for a good 2.5 hours. So I'm going to top off this battery using this new charger I just got today. And then we're going to top this guy off, and then we're going to see how long it's going to run the furnace as a fully charged battery instead of a partially charged battery. So after I hooked up the battery to the charger, I just took my amp meter, and the amp meter only read 0.3 of an amp. I'm like, why is that charging at such a low rate? I looked at the owner's manual, and this is why. This charger in particular, and I haven't found most lithium iron phosphate batteries do this, but this charger has 3 charging states: T1, T2, T3. Depending on the voltage of the battery, it's going to be in a certain stage. In this case, because the battery was so depleted from me testing a few days back, it's basically in a T1 stage, a pre-charge stage. Once that battery reaches a certain voltage, then the charger will then go into the T2 stage, which is the constant current charging stage. And at that point, the charger will then increase its amperage up to, in this case, 20 amps. It will then charge up that battery at 20 amps until it reaches a certain voltage on that battery, and then it will go to the T3 stage, which at this point the charger will then begin to decrease the current once again in order to allow that battery to be topped off without overcharging the cells. As you can see in this chart down here below, here's the 3 stages. T1 is a low amperage for a period of time, followed by an increase of amperage to at the beginning of the T2 stage, and that amperage will be sustained all the way through the T2 stage. And then once the amperage is at, or once the voltage is at a certain level on the T2 stage, and then the charger will then begin to decrease the amperage on the T3 stage to allow you to top off that battery without overcharging the cells or cooking the cells. So that makes complete sense. And like I said, most lithium iron phosphate battery chargers probably do this, but this is good information to know in case you see the same thing while you're using your own charger. So for the noobs out there, it helps to disconnect the inverter from the battery prior to hooking up the charger to the battery. As soon as I corrected my ways, the charger kicked on, as you can hear with the fan running on this guy. And with the charger running, I'm pulling 0.3 amps off of this charger right now, so it is on the low end of the ability to charge. So when the battery is very low, as this one is, it will slowly start charging the battery at a low amperage, and then once it gets to a certain point, once it senses the charge of the battery, it will then increase the amperage to a higher rate automatically. According to what I've read on the Wattcycle website, this battery takes about 5.5 hours to run, so we're going to let this thing charge up. Battery's been charging for about an hour now. Let's see what she looks like here. Let's see if the amperage has increased in the last hour. Yep, it has. It started at 0.3 of an amp, now it's at 0.4 of an amp. I saw 0.5, but it went back down to 0.4. So it's still drawing only about 0.4 of an amp. So a little bit under half an amp. So it hasn't the voltage on the battery has not exceeded the requirement in order for the charger to go into the next stage of charge, which is the T2 stage, which is when it begins to send juice at 20 amps. So that's where we're at with it. So it's going, like I said, it's been about an hour now, so we're going to see how much longer it's going to take before it goes into the T2 stage. Alright, we have returned after several hours of allowing this battery to charge. The charger is in standby mode with the green light. So it should be fully topped off, ready to go. I can get my amp meter out here and see if there's any juice going across the wire right now. 0.1 of an amp. Actually, probably none, because that did not change when I put that over the wire. So there's no juice coming off of this charger now. And then for the battery itself, I'm going to go ahead and take the charger off. I'm pretty confident that it's fully topped off. So with a more sensitive voltmeter, I'm at 17.03 volts off of this battery. That seems a little high. Need to look at the owner's manual on these Wattcycle batteries and see what their voltage ratings are supposed to be. That seems a little cooked. Hopefully I didn't hurt the cells any. I'm gonna have to look that up. Well, this is interesting. The overcharge voltage protection is supposed to be 14.6. And as you saw, that was clearly over 17 volts. So that's concerning. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully I didn't damage the cells. The BMS on that battery, on that Wattcycle battery, should have turned off the charge going into the battery near 14.6. So hopefully we didn't cause a whole lot of damage to those batteries. So I discovered, the reason why I said false alert, I discovered that the battery on the actual meter itself was low. That was given the false measurement of the voltage coming off of the battery. So once I replaced the actual battery inside this voltmeter, the voltage is a lot more accurate now coming off of this Wattcycle battery. So I did not cook the cells, nor did I overcharge this battery, fortunately. So that's a noob for you. Electronics 101, I should have checked for strong batteries in this voltmeter. False alert. Okay, to recap once again on where we are at, I have a 12 volt, 100 amp hour deep cycle battery from Wattcycle. The battery was fully topped off. As you can see with that voltmeter, it is way topped off at, according to this, 19.5 volts. I'm not sure the accuracy of that voltmeter, so I may have to hook up the other voltmeter up here to get a second reading, but according to that one, 19.5 volts. Hopefully I didn't cook the battery. Too bad. As for the yellow voltmeter at the top there, it's actually running the amps, and it's watching the amps at 1.6 amps of DC right now. So we got 19.5 volts coming off that battery at 1.5 amps. And then on the AC side, we have 0.08 amp of AC being pushed at 116.7 volts. The inverter shows the DC input level at 5 bars, which is indicating that that battery is fully charged. But if that voltmeter right there is accurate, it is overcharged. So we are going to see, in the DC to AC output right there will let you know how much that furnace draws as it cycles through. You'll see the bars go up and down based on the stage of the furnace. You'll see no load, some load, a big load, and then some load, and then no load. That's the typical cycle of this furnace. And then we're going to see all the other numbers on all the other equipment cycle through as we go as well. So we are now going to let this thing run, and we're going to see how long this furnace can go with a fully topped off battery from Wattcycle. If you like this content, give me a thumbs up and let me know what other content I can put out for you. Or if you have any suggestions or comments or just some information that you would like to share, put them down in the comments below. I would appreciate it. And here we go on the first call for heat.